GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Marc Beaumont. Tonight we'll look at foreign students rallying downtown over college closures, a quick weather update before we head into moderate traffic delays from roadwork, and the Dragon Flowers Bakery's move to St. Laurent. Over to you, Emma.
The Cameroonian community celebrated its 12th annual Cultural Day in La Salle on Saturday, showcasing traditional dances, live drumming, and a marketplace of authentic Cameroonian foods.
Over 2,000 attendees gathered at La Salle's community center for the event, where local artisans displayed handcrafted jewelry and visitors enjoyed free cultural workshops.
The day's program included a sunrise ceremony at sunrise, followed by a parade of traditional costumes winding through La Salle streets, culminating in an evening concert at the park.
The celebration highlighted La Salle's vibrant community spirit, and with that inspiring energy, we have plenty ahead, lots to get to. Let's begin. Good evening, Montreal. Foreign students gathered in downtown today to demand a permanent solution for completing their studies after the Quebec Ministry of Education refused to renew the operating permits of 4 private colleges. Protesters assembled outside the City Hall, holding signs in multiple languages and voicing concern that the ministry's decision leaves dozens of international learners without a clear path to finish their programs. Representatives of the ministry were present but declined to comment on the criteria behind the non-renewal. Student leaders said the shutdown threatens both academic progress and future employment prospects, urging the provincial government to intervene swiftly. Police monitored the demonstration, reporting no incidents. Quebec Premier Christine Fréchette later announced a review of the licensing process, while the Ministry of Education said it would meet with affected institutions next week. The protest underscores the uncertainty confronting foreign students following the abrupt closure of the 4 institutions.
Today, the Oklahoma City Thunder completed a 3-team deal that sent Montreal-born forward Lu Dort to the Atlanta Hawks. Dort, a defensive specialist who has started for the Thunder since being drafted, will join a Hawks roster looking to bolster its wing depth. The trade also involved the Thunder receiving a package of draft picks and a role player from Atlanta, while a third club facilitated the exchange. Dort's move marks the first time a native of the island will suit up for the Georgia franchise, adding an international flair to Atlanta's lineup. Thunder fans will see the former first-round pick depart after several seasons of gritty play, while Hawks supporters anticipate his energy on both ends of the floor. The transaction was finalized in Oklahoma City before the league's trade deadline.
Canadian National Railway faced a surge of complaints this month after crews sprayed herbicide along the tracks that cut through the Mercier-Hochelaga-Maisonneuve neighborhood. Residents say the chemicals were applied within meters of their homes and that no warning was given. CN officials said the treatment was part of routine weed control on its right-of-way, intended to keep vegetation from encroaching on the line. Neighbors reported strong odors and visible residue on sidewalks, prompting several families to seek medical advice. CN, which routinely applies herbicides seasonally across its network, has pledged to review its communication practices and to coordinate future work with local authorities. The borough's Public Safety Office announced plans to establish clearer notification procedures. No injuries have been reported and regulators have not announced an investigation. Health officials are monitoring the situation for any longer-term effects.
Saturday night, the city unveiled plans to add 1,650 affordable housing units across the island. The new developments will rise on the former Molson Brewery grounds, and in the Namur Hippodrome neighborhood, 2 sites the municipality says will help close the housing gap. Officials highlighted that the projects will expand the supply of rent-controlled homes for families and individuals struggling to find affordable options. The city aims to move forward with design and permitting in the coming months, with construction slated to begin later this year. Funding will come from a combination of municipal resources and provincial housing programs, though exact timelines for each phase were not disclosed. The announcement follows growing pressure on city leaders to address rising rents and limited inventory throughout the broader region.
Ontario truck drivers are increasingly seeking to swap their provincial licenses for Quebec equivalents, with applications rising by 30% over the past month. The surge, reported on Sunday, July 19, follows a noticeable influx of drivers relocating from Ontario to Quebec. Transport officials in Quebec say the growing number of requests reflects the movement of Ontario-based carriers into the province's freight corridors. Applicants must submit their Ontario licenses, provide proof of Quebec residence, and pass a written examination on provincial regulations before receiving a new permit. The Ministry of Transport reported that 1,200 drivers submitted conversion requests in June, up from 900 in March. The Provincial Transport Ministry confirmed that processing times remain unchanged despite the uptick. Industry groups note that the trend could affect driver staffing levels in both provinces, as more Ontario-licensed operators integrate into Quebec's transportation network. Later we'll see how a Montreal artist transformed a historic barn with a night sky mural honoring Black heritage. Plus more, we will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's dive into tonight's headlines, and now Emma Leclair will take us through the local stories shaping our city.
Stina Bodden spent early Saturday morning transforming the roof of a 19th-century barn in the eastern townships into a sweeping night sky mural. The artist's work, completed at 4 o'clock, aims to shine a light on the region's largely forgotten Black heritage. Bodden chose the historic barn because its age mirrors the long, overlooked contributions of Black families who settled the area centuries ago. By painting stars and constellations across the wooden beams, she creates a visual reminder that the community's history is as expansive as the sky. Local historians say the mural could become a focal point for tour and school projects, helping residents and visitors alike learn about the Black presence that shaped the townships. The project stands as a vivid tribute, inviting anyone passing by to pause and reflect on a past that has long been hidden.
Preparation for the Road World Cycling Championships is in full swing, with the city turning its streets into a global stage this September. Officials say roughly 550,000 fans are expected, making it one of the largest gatherings the island has seen. Over the past months, temporary finish lines, spectator zones, and upgraded transit routes have been installed to handle the influx. Local businesses are stocking up on merchandise and refreshments, anticipating a boost in traffic along the main routes. Security teams are coordinating with provincial partners to ensure smooth flow for cyclists and crowds alike. The event promises an unprecedented international showcase, putting the city's historic neighborhoods and modern infrastructure on view for a worldwide audience. Residents can look forward to the excitement of world-class racing right on their doorstep.
3 Quebec creations have secured spots among the top 100 finalists in the CODA Awards, Best Public Art category, a competition that celebrates the world's leading outdoor installations. The shortlist announced this year includes 6 Canadian works, exactly half of which hail from Quebec. CODA works. Tony Sykes highlighted the achievement, noting that the province's artists continue to shape the visual landscape across streets, parks, and transit hubs. For residents who pass by murals, sculptures, or interactive pieces daily, the recognition underscores how local creativity enriches everyday routes. The finalists will be featured in the awards' upcoming exhibition, offering a chance for the public to view the selected pieces up close before the final winners are announced later this year. The inclusion places Quebec's public art on a global stage, alongside installations from Europe, Asia, and the Americas.
The city's Cameroonian community is gathering in La Salle for the 12th Annual Cultural Day, a 2-day celebration organized by the Ngok Tungia Cultural Association. Over the weekend, families, musicians, and dancers are filling the park with traditional drums, vibrant costumes, and homemade dishes that showcase the richness of Cameroon's many regions. Visitors can explore craft stalls, watch folk performances, and sample foods like ndalé and grilled fish, while local schools join the festivities with student choirs. Shemba Samuel, a longtime organizer, said the event aims to share the country's heritage with neighbors and to strengthen ties within the community. With workshops, storytelling sessions, and a parade scheduled throughout Saturday and Sunday, the celebration invites anyone nearby to experience a slice of Cameroonian culture without leaving the neighborhood. Local vendors have set up booths selling handmade jewelry and woven baskets, adding to the lively atmosphere.
Mayor Michael Stern of Westmount faced formal citations on last Friday for 7 alleged ethics breaches, according to the Quebec Municipal Commission. The commission, which monitors conduct of municipal officials across the province, detailed the infractions in a public report released Wednesday. City officials confirmed the citations but declined to comment on the specifics of each violation. The allegations involve breaches of the Municipal Code of Ethics, including conflicts of interest and misuse of municipal resources. Stern has been asked to respond to the findings within a statutory deadline, and the commission indicated that further disciplinary measures could follow depending on his reply. The development adds pressure on Westmount's council as they navigate ongoing projects and budget discussions. Residents will watch closely for any impact on local governance and service delivery.
Now let's get a quick look at your evening forecast with our weather team.
A powerful western jet streams a high-pressure ridge, quelling rain and locking in mild summer air. On July 19th, Montreal's record heat peaked at 33.3 degrees Celsius in 2020, a blistering surge that rode a southerly ridge during an unprecedented heat wave. The coldest mark fell to 12.8 degrees Celsius in 2018, when an Arctic air mass plunged south behind a deepening low. By contrast, today's climatological normals sit around 24 degrees for the high and 14 for the low, underscoring how today feels modest against those extremes. Today's radar is a blank canvas, no echoes across the province, no rain bands in sight. A high-pressure ridge dominates, suppressing ascent and sealing in dry air. Meanwhile, the jet stream slices westward at 126 kilometers per hour, steering any disturbance well north of the city. With the atmosphere stable, we expect the sky to stay clear through the evening, and the radar will remain quiet as we move to tonight's outlook. At 6 p.m., Montreal sits under partly cloudy skies, temperature 22 degrees Celsius, humidity 26%, and a northwest wind blowing at 23 kilometers per hour with gusts up to 42. The high-pressure ridge that arrived this afternoon is still rising, locking in dry air and limiting any late-day showers. Overhead, the jet stream races west at 126 kilometers per hour, reinforcing the ridge and keeping the flow aloft. As night falls, temperatures will dip to 14 degrees, while the wind shifts to the west and peaks at 28 kilometers per hour, feeling brisk. The ultraviolet index sits at 6, and there are no active weather alerts. Tonight's clear, stable air sets the stage for tomorrow's transition. Looking ahead, Monday brings a clear sky and a warm surge, with daytime highs climbing to 27 degrees and lows holding at 14. The high-pressure ridge will still dominate, keeping moisture at bay. Tuesday flips the script as a trailing cold front drifts in, ushering overcast conditions and a 60% chance of rain. Temperatures moderate to 24 with a low of 17. Wednesday repeats the pattern with a brief break of sunshine but still a 50% rain probability, and a high of 22 and low of 15. Thursday returns to dry, clear skies and a comfortable 23 high, while Friday caps the week with a sunny stretch and a warm 26-degree peak, low 17. The week's temperature swing stays within a modest range, but the mid-week rain chances are the standout feature. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's moderate with roadwork delays. The comedy show lights up tonight, and the NHL season kicks off. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Honoré Mercier Bridge is the biggest bottleneck right now, with traffic squeezed into a single lane each way. Expect queues building quickly, especially during the evening rush. East of the bridge, the Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine Tunnel is operating with a reduced height clearance of 4.3 meters, so taller vehicles should seek alternate routes. On First Avenue, 2 of 3 eastbound lanes are closed for structural maintenance, leaving only one lane open and slowing traffic through the downtown core. Further west, Autoroute 40 runs partially closed with detours onto the Côte de Lys service road, adding about 10 minutes of travel time for drivers heading toward the West Island. All other major arteries, including Boulevard St. Laurent and the Daiquiri Expressway, are moving freely. No transit disruptions have been reported, so the metro and bus lines are running on schedule. Expect these conditions to hold through the late afternoon, and plan extra time if your route crosses any of the affected corridors.
The Festival International Nuits d'Afrique draws to a close today across the Quartier des Spectacles, offering a final night of Pan-African rhythms, dance and art you won't want to miss. Just for Laughs continues its run through the weekend, with stand-up specials and street performances lighting up the same neighborhood, perfect for a laugh-filled evening. At Deli Planet, the Montreal comedy show presents a fresh lineup of Canadian comedians, delivering sharp jokes and local flavor in an intimate setting. If you're already outside, Picnic Electronic is in full swing at Parc Jean Drapeau, where international DJs keep the Sunday vibe alive with non-stop electronic beats. And looking ahead, tomorrow's Tropical Escape 3 at Cavalli's promises a night of island-inspired electronic music, a great way to keep the summer energy flowing. And now here's Jason with sports.
Tonight's sports roundup highlights the Canadiens' opening night, tight soccer win and major trade. The 2026-27 NHL season launches on September 29 with two all-Canadian opening games. Montreal Canadiens will travel to Toronto to face the Maple Leafs, offering a marquee showdown for fans. The league's schedule promises an exciting start to the campaign. In Northern Super League action on July 12, substitute Chloe Minas delivered a decisive penalty in the 77th minute, securing a 1-0 victory for the Montreal Roses over the Halifax Tides. The narrow win underscores the Roses' resilience in a tightly contested match. The Canadiens have moved forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations, according to the June 29 announcement. The deal reshapes Montreal's forward depth heading into the upcoming season, while Vancouver adds a veteran presence to its roster. An international sports firm has injected $30 million into the Northern Super League, the Canadian women's professional soccer competition now in its second season, supporting its six-team structure spanning Vancouver, Calgary, Halifax, Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa. The Canadiens have dealt forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations, a move confirmed on June 29 that reshapes Montreal's forward depth and adds a veteran presence to Vancouver's roster as the off-season progresses.
Dragon Flowers, now on St. Laurent Boulevard in Mile End, is blooming anew after 4 decades on Bernard Street. Owner Tammy Lau, a single mother of 14 who arrived from Hong Kong, has guided the shop through generations, turning a modest flower stall into a neighborhood landmark. This spring, the store uprooted its historic location and reopened on the bustling boulevard, offering the same handcrafted bouquets, seasonal arrangements, and a quiet corner for locals to share stories. The move not only expands the shop's footprint, but also brings a splash of color to a street already humming with cafes and boutiques. Dragon Flowers reminds us that Montreal's spirit grows strongest when its roots stay tender and its petals reach out. And now a bright note, Dragon Flowers has uprooted from Bernard Street and reopened its doors on St. Laurent Boulevard. Stay smiling.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theater Filler changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches, no middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
On a crisp July evening in 1976, the Olympic Stadium on St. Catherine Street thrummed with the cheers of a city that had opened its doors to the world. Beneath the bright floodlights, a modest team of Canadian biochemists in white coats moved between the athletes' locker rooms, quietly installing the first-ever anti-doping laboratory for anabolic steroids. Their equipment, glass vials, delicate syringes, and a humming centrifuge felt out of place among the fanfare, yet it marked a turning point. When the first sample was drawn from a sprinter, vein and the lab's results flickered green on the monitor, a collective sigh rose from the technicians. The games would now have a safeguard for honest effort. That moment sparked a global commitment to clean sport, and Montreal's name became synonymous with a brave new standard. As the torch's flame dimmed that night, the city's heart beat a little steadier, knowing it had helped write a rule that protects the spirit of competition for generations to come. Montreal's legacy reminds us that the city's spirit is built on looking ahead together.
On a Saturday afternoon in Granby's downtown, a crowd gathered beneath the arches of the old railway station. Claudine Leroux stepped up to the microphone, her smile as steady as the sun filtering through maple leaves. Neighbors arrived with homemade pies, coffee, and croissants, turning a campaign launch into a neighborhood potluck. Balloons swayed above a small stage, and the clock tower chimed the hour. Emma Leclair, Claudine, a teacher for 2 decades, has spent her career in classrooms where she taught not just math and literature but the value of listening. Today she announced she will run as the CAQ candidate for the Granby riding, hoping to carry forward community spirit that defines this town. What does this mean for the people who watched her guide their children? A child perched on a wooden stool handed her a handwritten note that read, "We need you, Ms. Leroux," and the room erupted in applause. The simple act of a neighbor's trust, a shared smile, and a promise to stay rooted in local values made the moment unforgettable. Montreal's own story is reflected in these quiet acts of hope.
Thanks for watching, Montreal. Tonight's look at the new affordable housing plan reminded us how a city builds its future, and I'm proud of the community that makes it happen. I'm Marc Beaumont, and I'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay safe and see you then.